Thank you so much, Jason. It was actually really cool to hear them both talking about me, but not knowing they were talking about me. It's kind of a fun place to be at. And then Steve was like, I didn't even get her name. How am I going to find her? Like, in a sea of people. And I was like, you know what? God does fun things, fun ways, like when you least expect it. And the coolest part about all of this is, we didn't talk about what we're going to talk about. We kind of gave like our message. And I'm sitting here and I was sharing with Jason. I'm like, it is so cool how so much of what I'll be sharing, Steve and Pastor Glenn have already talked about. And knowing what I know about the brain, and I'll share a little bit about my story so you guys know why I'm up here, because you're probably like, why is she up there? And maybe you're not thinking that. That's totally okay, too. The fact of it was, I got told I would die without emergency brain surgery when I was 25. I was young, healthy, very active, took care of my health, was very athletic. And then one day I woke up, 4:30 in the morning, the room was spinning one direction, my brain was in another direction, and my body was on a third roller coaster. And I was like, everything was spinning different ways, and I was like, holy crap, I don't even know what's happening. And when I looked down at my feet, you expect them to move? It was the craziest thing. My feet weren't moving. One thing about me is I'm Ukrainian too. We have the same word for feet and legs, so I'll use them interchangeably because to me, I'm translating things in my mind pretty quickly. And I'm like, wait, feet, legs, hands, arms? It took me a while to actually get the difference. But all that being said, I looked down and I was like, they're not moving. Okay, 25 years old. I thought my whole life was ahead of me, honestly. I didn't think that today can be my last day. Tomorrow can be my last day. And what really, really hit me hard is they were forcing all these different things on me. And here I am, I can see lips moving, but I could not comprehend what they were saying. And that's a crazy place to be in for a young person, any person actually. And I was kind of gifted in a way where I look back at my story and I'm like, wow, God, you are so crazy. I would never have chosen the financial industry. Ever. I don't think talking about money is fun. I make it fun. I laugh. I have so much fun with my clients. People come in expecting a serious person. And I'm like, no, I get serious, yes, but I have fun because it should be fun. But God works in mysterious ways. So he gave me this blessing in disguise, and something that Steve mentioned is we already have what we need inside us. Done. Cool. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about here. We can do hard things. Life, when we're created here on earth, the process itself is adverse. We go through adversity to be born on earth. Yet people are walking around all day being like, oh, I went through this and I went through this. I'm not taking away from the fact that we go through things in life, but going through adversity is part of life. Winning through adversity is something different. And that's what I want you guys to take away. It's not something that I share. I share my story because just like Pastor Glenn said, if I can be successful and follow the system that I was going to talk about, save yourself time, energy, and money is what it stands for, then you can too. We owe it to the people in our life to be the best version of ourselves, to stop holding back, stop playing small, to show all out, and it all starts with us. And so it's so cool that we all kind of hit the same nail on the head. Because of what I learned through my experience, the brain follows the strongest pattern. It doesn't know positive or negative. We give it that meaning. So what's really cool is now we're repeating different things, and your brain's going to pick up stuff so much quicker, which is so fun. So I'm going to talk about money. In front of you guys, you have a little booklet like this, a little page. The reason I made it little is so you can take it with you. There's an activity on the back I can't wait to do. You guys are going to love it a little bit later. But it all comes through money, right? Money, making sense of money. A lot of times people are like, I don't know if this works. It did earlier. That's okay, we'll roll with it. Can you click the next slide for me? There we go, thank you. Making sense of making money. It's not what we don't know that prevents us from succeeding. It's what we know that just ain't so that is our greatest obstacle. I love this so much because a lot of times clients come to me and they have a very outdated money story. That's what we're gonna talk about today. They have a money story that they've had since childhood. And usually you either copy what your parents do or you do the exact opposite of what your parents do. That's the pendulum, it swings, baby. And people don't realize that they're actually just living a money story. They're holding themselves back from abundance. Because we can live abundant lives. That's what we were created for. There needs to be more good people in this world doing good things, making good money. That's when we can actually do more good in this world. There's a lot of evil people making good money, but there needs to be more good people. That's what we're going to talk about, because all of y'all, we're going to make so much more money together, and that's the beautiful part of having a collective, is leveraging each other, shouting each other out, leveraging different businesses for what we do, because again, I do finances. I was like looking at all the different speakers. I'm like, ooh, an accountant, I gotta go talk to you. I got your tie. I was like, Paul, I got you. There's different people that we run into. Next one, please. So the current way of doing things is not working. There's a little bit of statistics. $182,100 is the average retirement balance for those ages 60 to 69. With today's inflation rates, that's maybe 2 years, 3 years, and then you're what Forbes calls you're too broke to work, but you're too frail to retire. That's what's happening. People returning back to the workforce because they thought that they had their retirement set up. And I know there's business owners here, and I know that there's entrepreneurs here, and I know there's different people from different areas of life. It doesn't matter what you do, because we all can benefit from having a retirement plan. And when I say retirement plan, this is the fun part, okay? When I sit with clients, I'm like, okay, fill in the blank. You work until you what? That's sad. Did you guys just realize what you said? You know what actually happens? I've seen it time and time again with clients. They retire and they die 2 years later. Or they retire and they never even get to their bucket list of items. Because in their mind, they programmed themselves, I work until I die. That's not true, though. You actually work until you're financially independent. And then you do whatever you want to do on your own times with whoever you want, whenever you want. There's no age for that. I'm financially independent at 40. And people are like, how the heck did you do that? And I'm like, I put the law of labor into work. I followed the system that Pastor Glenn talked about, that abundance is for everybody. It doesn't matter your age. And all of you guys can do that too. I'm going to show you how. 40%, this is a very sad statistic. 40%, again, this is 2023. These are the reported cases of divorce. Of divorces are due to financial issues. And I hear this all the time. When I talk to the man and the wife, when I talk to partners, it's the craziest thing ever because they don't even talk about money. And then now I'm here trying to help them get clear on what they actually want, but they don't even have that communication between themselves. So sometimes I feel like I need a couch in my office, totally a psychologist. I'm like, all right, tell me more. Where did that come from? Where did that stem from? Why do you believe that money is the root of all evil? Like, that's not true. It actually says the love of money is the root of all evil. Money's good. It's a tool. It's abundant. We're going to get to that in a moment. 60% will be diagnosed with a chronic, critical, or terminal illness due to financial stress. This one is mind-blowing. The statistics are even higher. Did you know when the main breadwinner of a family dies, that family's bankrupt within 3 years? 3 years! That's insane. We're not making a plan. We're not being abundant. We're not actually doing what the law of abundance actually tells us to do. And a lot of that comes from financial. It's not knowing. How do you know what you don't know that you don't know? That's all I'm here to share. I'm here to share a little bit more to give you guys some clarity, to give you power, to empower you, to educate you, just like I do with my clients. That's my goal. Whether you work with me or not, that does not matter to me. That's like second nature over there. It's this: financial increase, servant leadership, kingdom influence. I'm more worried about what God told me to do, really. And I don't have to say I'm a believer to people. People come up to me and they're like, what do you do? Who are you? You know why? They feel it. They see it. They're like, I want whatever she's doing. Do you drink energy drinks? I actually told Jason, I was like, I tried my first one the other day. Celsius. I don't know if you guys drink it. Somebody was like, this is a clean version. You can have some. And I was like, I don't even need it because I generate my own energy. People believe that they need 8 hours of sleep. Guess what? I've been traveling so much the last 2 weeks, I got 3 hours of sleep most nights, and I don't care. That's not what I need. I always say I'll sleep when I'm dead. And people are like, that's funny, Nadia. And I'm like, no, it's true. I'll sleep plenty, I promise. But we only got one life to live. What are you doing with it? 63% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Crazy statistics. Most people cannot even come up with $500 if something were to come up. Now, I use specific language because I've learned how to collaborate with my brain instead of working against it. So I work smarter, not harder than most people. So I don't call something an emergency fund or a rainy day fund, because guess what? If you're saving for an emergency or you're saving for a rainy day, guess what's going to happen? It's going to happen. You're going to get an emergency or rainy day fund. So I choose to use language differently. So I call it my instant access savings. Yes, I have one, of course. That's actually how I was able to recover and pay for everything out of pocket. Because otherwise, I don't know where I'd be. I don't want to think about it. I wouldn't be here. I can just say that very freely, because I had to do physical therapy to even be able to walk again. Things that we take for granted, brushing our teeth, waking up in the morning, being grateful for the day. Some people roll out of bed and they're pissed off because they have to go back to work. It's like, no, you get to get up. You get to go to work. You get to make an income. Come on, y'all. 67% of Americans have never had a financial plan and are not on track to retire. This is why my days are full, honestly. This is why I teach people to do what I do. Shout out to Gabe and Anna that are here. The reason for that is I'm not holding tight to what God gave me. I'm using my skills and my talents, and I share freely what I do because that only challenges me to keep raising my average. Average sucks. That has nothing to do with anybody else but me being better today than I was yesterday, being better tomorrow than I am today. It's a constant competition of getting better. So what is your current money story? Next slide, please. Let me know if you guys have heard these before. Money's the root of all evil. Come on now, I hear it every day. If I have too much, I'll lose my values. Okay, really? I'm not good with money. Okay, keep telling yourself that story. Having money is selfish. My family has always been poor. Money is limited and hard to get. These are just examples of things I hear all the time, multiple times a day. What do you say? What is your current money story? Has anybody ever asked you that? It's actually really simple. Our brains are so smart. In front of you guys, you have a little sheet that says money is, and it says, what is your current money story? So we're going to play a little game. You guys want to play a game? Here's the game. It's going to give you clarity about your money story. Now, the trick to it is you can't think. The moment I say that, people are like, then what do you mean? This is how the brain works, because oftentimes we say something to make it politically correct or make it sound nice. If you want to know what your unconscious mind actually thinks about something, you got to say the first thing that comes to mind when somebody asks you. And you can practice this at home while you're driving in traffic. Instead of being mad at traffic, just start practicing like, hey, relationships are, sales is, making calls is, building a business is, whatever you want to ask yourself, really. So ask yourself, money is. We're going to do it all together in a second. So I'm going to go through it. And when I say the statement, I just want you to write the first thing that comes to mind, no judgment. There is no judgment. Only you're going to see this paper. It's only going to give you clarity. If you try to make it sound nice, it's obviously not going to work. So I know you guys want it to work. So let's just write the first thing that comes to mind. Ready? All right, pens, pencils, phones, all right? All right, love it. Money is? Money is? Money is? You paused, you did it wrong. Congratulations, you messed it up for everybody. We all want to get things perfect all the time. It's so funny. It's like, why not? I don't really care if I mess up. I was always telling people when I'm on stage, sometimes people fear like tripping. And I'm like, if I trip on stage, I'm just doing a full out cartwheel. Like I'm just going to be ready, land gracefully. It's all good. When I first did this activity, I was like, money is a tool. Money is like grows on trees. I was like, what else have I heard? I like couldn't even think of what I thought money was. And then I was like, oh, I'm thinking I'm actually trying to say the right answer instead of just saying what I want to say. So I was sitting with a business owner the other day. She has a really strong business. She's making good money, but she's not making, she feels like there's a ceiling that she's not breaking through. So I asked her this same question. I asked her, money is, and she said, hard to get, limited, and I have to work long hours for it. Guess what she's doing? Working on long hours. It's hard to get. She's not making sales. She has all the skills. She has all the things that she needs. But her money story hasn't been updated since she was 2, and now she's 40. Guess what? 38 years of telling yourself the same story. That repetition's strong in that brain. It's just like going to work and not knowing how you got there. Anybody had those mornings? I've had those mornings where I'm like, whoa, okay, I'm here. I don't know what path. That's because your brain already knows the path you take. It's that simple. And I'm grateful that I actually learned all this by going through what others would be like, wow, that was traumatizing. I'm like, if you want to label it that, sure, but I call it my blessing in disguise. I can talk to people of all different ages. People have no idea what I went through. I don't have any idea what any of you guys went through. That's the beautiful part of it. It's what label we actually give it. So what is your money story? Next slide. Go ahead, next one. Systems. I love systems. Save yourself time, energy, and money. Why do most people become entrepreneurs or business owners? Right. They don't want to work for somebody else. They want their own hours. But most people go from employee to self-employed, which instead of having a job, you own your job. But that doesn't change. You're still on the left side of the quadrant. You're still exchanging your time for money. That doesn't make you a business owner. That simply changes your responsibilities. Now you're thinking about your business 24/7. Because it used to be one person's problem, now it's yours. It's all yours from the start of the day to the end of the day, and that's all you're thinking about. That's the difference. The question is, what kind of skills do you need to get to the right side of the quadrant so that you can actually be a business owner and an investor? The statistics are up there of how it kind of breaks down. Again, plus or minus. If you want to be the 1% this doesn't work for, that's fine too. Right? We want to own a system. The best part is we already have a system to own. And Pastor Glenn already talked about it. I simply plugged myself into the system. Now I teach others to do it too, because again, we need more good people making abundant blessings so that we can be the light in the world that the world needs, really. And it all starts with you and how you communicate with yourself, and then how you communicate with others. Just that ripple effect starts. So your programming creates beliefs, your beliefs create attitudes, your attitudes create feelings, your feelings determine actions, and your actions create results. I don't know about you guys, what really kind of makes me go, is when I'm talking to people that are faith, whichever faith it is, and they're like, I'm waiting for a sign. I want to buy a billboard and say, this is your sign. I really just want to do that. Or they're like, I'm waiting for God to, I'm not saying don't go to prayer. Yeah, listen, you need to take action. God can't use you if you're parked in a car. The car has to be moving for him to turn on the lights green and red to put you in the right direction. Am I saying you're going to get it right 100% of the time? No. That's why we have each other. We have mentors that we can actually be like, hey, you're somewhere I want to be. What steps, what skills, what can I get better at to be where you are? It's like I went on a yacht. Okay, I went on a yacht, and I'm not impressed by yachts because I really don't like the sea. I like land. And so it doesn't matter how cool the yacht is, I still don't care. But what I was listening to is what people were saying. Because some people walk on and they're like, wow. Some people walk on and they're like, hey, how did you get this? Those are two different types of people. Because you can have everything, but if you idolize something, right, we talk about this often. If you put somebody on a pedestal too high, then it makes you feel like you can't do it. I just view everybody equal. I don't care what titles people have. To me, it's never been about a title. Leadership is a role that you do. It's action that you take. It's not a title that you're given. Yeah. And I don't need to be called a president to act like the president, really. I make my own rules too, my own laws. I believe speed limits are recommended. It's worked for me. I'm invisible to cops. Literally, that's what I tell myself. I've never been pulled over, and I never will be. It's because I've set my life up. You know those people that sometimes they always get the front parking spot everywhere they go? That's me. You know those people that go to the airport and never have a problem? That's me. You know what I do? I tell my day how it's going to go. I tell my day, hey, I'm going to show up to the airport. There's going to be no line, no problems. I'm going to get right through. I'm going to get upgraded to business because I like it. Even though I'm paying for first class, business, like, it doesn't matter. The thing is, a lot of people will say they want something, but they actually don't take a step towards it. They say, hey, I want to travel the world and speak on stages. Have you talked on a stage before? Maybe you don't like it. I want this car, this car. Have you test drove it? Like, get a Turo, rent it for a day. Actually drive it around and see if it fits your lifestyle. It's all about making it simple, and that's what I do. Next page, please. So, basics of investing. I'm going to run through this. You guys might notice I talk really fast. I've learned to do this after I got sick because, again, I want to give you more information in less amount of time. I don't like to drag things out. So, again, you'll catch what you need to catch. Here's the difference. I like to simplify money. Really, money is very, very simple. The traditional financial environment has done an excellent job complicating it. And after spending, working, let's say 13 plus years, I've seen a lot of difference. But what I saw, there's a divide between what the wealthy 5% do and what majority of others do. It's not that they don't have the money. It's not that they don't have the skill. They don't have the education. Financial literacy is not taught unless you had a mentor, a parent, or somebody that you crossed paths with that actually told you how to do it the easy way. That's the difference. So here's the 3 simple steps. I'm breaking it down really quickly. Rule of 72, super easy. If you are not familiar with the rule of 72, Albert Einstein, crazy guy, crazy hair, way ahead of his time. Love that dude. Rule of 72, you simply take 72 and divide it by the interest rate you're earning. That approximately tells you how long it'll take your money to double. What's really cute is people putting their accounts in CDs. I'm not saying they're bad. There are some good CDs. I'm not calling the baby ugly. I'm just saying cute outfit. 1%, right? If you have something 1%, it'll take you 72 years for your money to double. Are you going to wait that long? I'm not. I know I won't be here in 72 years. So 4, 6, 12, you get the math. Simple, simple. The goal is to educate you how to make more money risk-free and tax-free, because what the traditional financial environment has taught has obviously brought on a retirement crisis. You can go look it up everywhere. They're calling it a retirement crisis. These next 7 years, in the next 7 years, the last baby boomer turns 65. In the next 7 years, we're going to see the biggest shift in money ever in history. And guess what? Most of those people are going to be back to work because they're going to run out of money shortly after. That's sad. That's where I want to make sure that I'm not there. And I want to make sure I get as many people this information as possible because I don't want any of you guys there either. So how money grows? 3 ways. People can complicate it. There's 3 ways. There's fixed, variable, indexed. Great example of a fixed account is your savings. When was the last time your savings grew without you putting money into it? 10 cents. Congratulations. It's not even reportable. Got to have $10. So fixed, most people know. Variable, this is the one that most people are actually in. Because again, the market goes up, your account goes up. Market goes down, your account goes down. Then people are asking me, what about gold and silver? Great, it's a variable market too. Supply and demand. Commodities, stock, like there's so many things when people will complicate it. Crypto is a variable account. It's all supply and demand. That's all it comes back to. It's all the basics. I always bring it back to the basics because I feel when people have that foundational knowledge of the basics, that's when things get really fun. And then indexed accounts. Indexed accounts are not in the index. For example, the S&P is an example of an index. Indexed accounts are mirroring indexes. So your money is actually not in an index. You get the growth, but you don't lose money. You have the principal protection from indexed accounts. What many of you don't know here is that the wealthy use indexed accounts all the time. Go to FDIC.gov, you can see how many billions and trillions of dollars banks are taking that you put in a savings fixed account and they put it in an indexed account. So they're making the big interest while they're paying you the 0.1%. Walt Disney, you guys all know Disneyland, love him, hate him, be indifferent. He literally created Disney World because of his indexed account. He was able to borrow against himself and turn it into an infinite banking strategy. You can do it too. There's no reason you can't. Taxes, my favorite. My mom does taxes, so I have a love-hate relationship with taxes. But really, how many of you guys have played sports, have kids that play sports? Anybody? What sports? Give me something. Football, soccer, oh, I love football. Okay, let's go football. Imagine me showing up. Actually, I asked my mom to play football. She thought I was crazy. I was like, Mom, I can tackle. That aside, imagine me showing up on the field and not knowing the rules of the game. I would get tackled. I'd probably get hurt. That's what everybody's doing in life. They're showing up to play and they don't know the rules of the game. The tax code is 8,800 pages. Guess what? It's so boring. If you ever have a hard time falling asleep, that's what I recommend you read. You'll be asleep in like 2 seconds because you'll reread the first sentence and be like, I don't know what I read, I'm out. There's 30 pages that actually teach you how to pay taxes. So what the wealthy have learned is they've learned the rules of the game. It's not that they don't pay taxes. No. They pay on their full share. Imagine having a bag of seeds, right? 10 cents. And you take that bag of seeds and you plant it over a field, and it brings you $10,000 worth of harvest. Now, would you rather pay on the 10 cents or on the $10,000 harvest? Then why are you all paying on the $10,000 harvest? Right? So there's tax now, tax later, tax advantaged. A lot of people are saying, I'm going to pay taxes later. If we had time, I would show you how big our debt is growing, like exponentially, billions and trillions of dollars. Guess what? They're going to raise taxes to make sure we can cover that because they need a budget. I'm not even going to talk about us here. I'm going to talk about them up there. They're overspending, and that's always going to come on us. But it doesn't have to be me. I'm not going to pay it. I'll pay my fair share, of course, because we pay taxes to whose coin it is, right? We can go into a lot of biblical verses. But that's the important part. The education piece is what's going to set you apart. It's what's going to give you that abundance. That's what's going to actually help you grow. Next slide, please. So imagine you had a Swiss Army knife. Who knows what a Swiss Army knife is? If you didn't, it's right on the screen. It basically is one tool that has everything in it. Now, if I'm out in the wilderness, my brothers are hunting, my dad, everybody's like, whew, they've all got pocket knives. I don't have to ever have one. The difference is knowing how to use the tools, because you can have the tool but have no idea how to use it, or simply not even have it. But one of my amazing mentors taught me, know what you know who knows what you don't know, and that's all you need to know.